Ooh. Hey guys, welcome back to Rewatch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And we have a tier on our Patreon where if you join it, you can pick what fucking video we're gonna do. We pick one a week to do it, and this week's winner is Jeremy Walker, who picked Joyride, also picked by Katie Sidebot.
I like Jeremy Walker's name. It just sounds like a name in a bar that you would know not to fuck with that guy. Like, listen, if you don't calm down, I'm getting Jeremy Walker.
The rise of Jeremy Walker.
The Baba Yaga.
So, Joyride, actually, this is a movie I can't believe. I actually had to search it because I was certain that we did this before.
Yeah, I thought so
we
too.
both love this movie. I've seen it like 32 times and it never really gets that old. It's not the greatest movie of all time, but it's one of those, it's like Jim Carrey's Liar Liar. Like when it's on TV, you can sit and watch it and you can have a blasty blast in your fucking pantaloons.
It was one of those early 2000 movies that you just couldn't fucking not watch.
Yeah.
And it was good, it was great, it was awesome, it was amazing. It was Paul Walker and Steve Zahn, some girl that she's been in a lot of stuff. The Glass House is what I'm remembering. I don't remember her name though.
Lily Sabisky. Lily Sabisky.
That just sounds like a fucking croissant that didn't work out at parties. Lily Sabisky. Hey, get the new Sabisky.
Fresh baked Lily
shit,
Sabisky.
nobody wants it. So, this movie is actually, in my opinion, it's not a timeless film, but it's definitely one of those films in the early 2000s when you go back and you're watching stuff like 13 Ghosts and you're having sex with it. It's one of those movies you gotta put on your queue. You gotta have it on your queue at least once. And if you've never seen this movie, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to be learnt today. Learnt today. Also, surprising fact, J.J. Abrams had a lot to do with this. He wrote the fucking movie.
It was early in his career, and he wrote it right after he wrote Armageddon, which is another movie I didn't realize that he'd written. But it was his first horror movie that he did, and he's had Cloverfield and other stuff that ties into the horror universe. You can feel for sure that it's a J.J. Abrams movie when you watch it because it's got that. He always talks about the mystery box, like keep some shit hidden from the viewer and let them discover it as they go along.
I like that. That's always good.
Which one of the things in the movie, like sometimes you go,
it's like Tinder.
I wish that they would have showed. Yeah, it's a mystery box.
It's like Tinder. You don't know.
I wouldn't know. I'm too old. We missed that fucking boat.
Well, I know.
No, I did.
Well, we both did.
You didn't utilize it.
Well, I don't want to utilize
this man. I'm like, use it.
I figured that, you know what? I don't want to dive into the Dunkin' Donuts of shame and fucking figure out that I'm dating a 39-year-old fucking overweight dude from Norwegian.
Listen, man, it was like being in the dating scene. This is what you were doing when you were single. Yeah. All right. You was like walking through the dating scene with a walking through high school with a goddamn lightsaber and still letting kids pick on you. Well, you could have taken that bitch out. When you've been in the dating market and you didn't have Tinder or the internet and you survived that and you worked your way, navigated that, and now you have Tinder and you don't use it. It's like going through Star Wars with a lightsaber and never lighting it up.
Here's the thing. No, it's actually like this. It's like going to Disney World with a fanny pack and being a dad. It's like, I don't know what this is.
I begged this man to use it.
I didn't want. Never mind. We're not. Well, you know what?
I was married pre-Tinder, so I had no choice.
We'll have a discussion on that one day.
Anyway, no choice.
Fuck it. So,
I was going to say something though. Okay. I was going to say where I was going with that was J.J. Abrams' whole mystery box thing. You can feel J.J. Abrams in this movie, even though he only was a co-writer on it.
Touch me, baby.
Feel it.
Drive me crazy.
I can feel it. I got him dead.
Oh fuck.
I could feel J.J. Abrams in this movie though, because like the whole mystery box scenario, like they don't show the truck driver, they don't show the guy doing it until the very end. So even if like the plot gets derivative and they go here and they go there and they go all over the place, they still keep so much hidden from you, like Lost did, that you're fucking like, I need to find out. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it's lighthearted and fun, but still a horror movie. There's still a lot at stake. You could definitely feel J.J. Abrams' DNA all over this
Abrams
movie.
definitely wrote the film as a suspense thriller, and that's definitely all over the film as well. Like suspense thriller, it's like dark. It's got some black comedy in it as well. Like it just feels, again, Abrams had his thumbprint all over it, and that's great, and that's what makes the movie so enjoyable for me. But also, like everybody wants to talk about Paul Walker in the movie. Like I remember everybody just talking about Paul Walker and how cute he was and how hot he was, and he was a good looking guy. But Steve Zahn to me like carried the film and was what, like, you know how like certain films you have to have like the everyday guy that you can get, you can like kind of anchor into and be like, okay, I'm like invested in the film. That's to me what Steve Zahn was. Now, like the first thing I want to say is I'm not going to take anything away from Paul Walker as far as the way his performance was in this film, but it felt very generic. It was a very like just a normalized college boy kind of portrayal of the character, and that's fine, and that's what they were going for. Steve Zahn, I think, took it to an upper limit and an upper level, not like an Academy Award winning like performance, but still like an everyday guy that you could be like, okay, I get that. Like, he's in trouble. He doesn't really talk to his family. He's the older brother of Paul Walker. Paul Walker bails him out of jail, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? You fucking want mom's cookies? Well, fuck you. Like, he just felt like, I don't know, he felt like a guy that you could get behind and really enjoy the movie through the eyes of that character that he was playing. And that's mainly one of the reasons why I love Steve Zahn is like completely underrated as an actor anyway. So,
dude, I totally fucking agree. Yeah. Steve Zahn is underrated as a whole, but he's also the best part of this movie. And Steve Zahn's great because, like, you nailed exactly why it was great. He was the guy that I connected with in the film as well. But also, the thing about Paul Walker though is Paul Walker in this film is fucking Eli Manning. He's the stupidest kid, and I'm not blaming Paul Walker for this because he played it as the role was written. But he's his mama's boy, and that's literally his handle in the movie. Basically, when they talk on the CB radio, his mama's boy. But literally, Paul Walker is so aw shucks, guys. He's stupid. He's Eli Manning. Like, he literally, I don't think he could find his way out of a fucking Walmart grocery store. The whole time he's like, I don't know if we should do that. And like, he just like, he buys into the role, and
great ass cheeks though. But he definitely plays up the nativity perfectly. The whole idea is, it's basically a road trip. Paul Walker's character is thirsty. Lewis is thirsty.
Captain Thirst.
For this ass.
Parched.
For this ass. And she's good look. I mean, I can understand. But he's like in the background kind of guy. And now he's like, oh, you broke up with your boyfriend? I'm going to be there in like 5 hours. I'm gonna drive 5 hours and buy a car. I bought a fucking car and filled it up with gas just to pick you up to get some poutine.
He's going home from the summer, and when he's on the phone with her, she's like, I just broke up with my boyfriend, and I really, like, vaguely hints that she would like a ride home, and he's like, I can take care of that. And then he literally pawns his fucking ticket, buys a car just to pick her the fuck up.
$1,100.
He's putting the pussy on a pedestal, and we all know it.
Yeah, and then after that, then when he picks up Steve Zahn nails it like a fucking modern day philosopher when it comes to putting the pussy on the pedestal. He says, so you're basically playing a boyfriend that's not really a boyfriend or getting any of the benefits of being a boyfriend by being the concerned guy. And he's like, then he gets pissed off and he like jerks the car over, like after, you know, he's picked up Steve Zahn. He's like, first off, no more bullshit small talk. Don't talk about me, my car, or my girlfriend. And I'd be like, isn't that what big brothers are supposed to do? I'm trying to fucking help you out. Because that's what Steve Zahn's like saying. He's like, you're chasing after a goddamn wet dream. It's not going to happen. She's not interested.
All Steve Zahn asks him, which is his character's Fuller in the movie, but all Fuller asks him is so you want to fuck her? And he gets so offended, he pulls the car on the side of the road. And he's basically Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover. Yeah. He's so dumb. He's like, don't talk about butthole pleasures, Steven.
I love that part when he pulls over. He's like, so are you good? Or you want me to drive? Or like, what's going on? Like Steve Zahn, like Fuller didn't know that he had done anything wrong, which in my eyes he really didn't. He was like, it's your brother trying to hang out, or even if it was your best friend, be like, dude, what are you getting at this? All he said is like, oh, so you're fucking her. And he was like, what? Like, he looked like an alien was getting ready to fucking spit acid out of his mouth. He was like, it's like, what do you mean? Don't talk about her like that. I'm like, oh my God.
And then Lily Sabisi's character, which is Vinna in the movie. This is a stupid fucking name. Why are you gonna name her after a sausage? All right. Vinna Sausages is the name of the character, but Vinna I hated too. And here's why I hated her. Like, the actress, fine, whatever. Lily Sabisi, fine, whatever. But she had this Julia Stiles, 10 Things I Hate About You, fucking, she's got that, I've been in college for 2 weeks and I don't show my boobs, so I'm the smartest person in the room. And the second she gets in the car, she's fucking making orders and telling people how it's gonna be, and I'm like, what? Like, why are you so snotty?
Yeah.
Like, her character just came off as snotty to me, and I was like, I don't know, Steve Zahn was definitely my favorite.
They all three go on a road trip together, and they're all making their way downtown. But they're going. I think they're going to Colorado. But before this happened, before they picked up Lily, before they picked up Vinna, what Steve Zahn, or Fuller and Lewis, I'm going to use their movie names now, Fuller and Lewis, decide to do is they get a CB radio. And I love Steve, like, I love Fuller, dude, because he's just having a good time. He's like, I haven't seen you forever. You're my brother, you're my bro, you're my fucking hodie, great guy, compadre. Let's get a CB radio and fuck with people.
Dude, I was the same fucking thing. I was like, that's the coolest brother gift ever. And he was like, you're putting holes in my car.
I was like, he's like, I love Fuller's laugh though. He goes, I talked him down to 40 bucks. Yeah, but it's so, like, that's probably what me and Mike would do. I guess that's why we would die really early on in a horror movie, because we would both like be all about it. But Fuller gets him a CB radio, and Paul Walker or Lewis and Fuller are like driving down the road, and they decide to prank, you know, use the CB radio to talk to other truckers and stuff, which sounds like a fucking fucking awesome idea. Like,
good time.
So they use the CB radio, and basically what Fuller says to Lewis, he's like, this was like the internet before the internet. Like, he's like, you prank people in chat rooms all the time, so this is what we do. So they start pranking people, and they're having a good time with it, but you come across fucking Rusty Nail, and he gets Lewis to pretend to be a girl and say that her name is Candy Cane, and they're gonna meet up later on in a hotel room. And that's
Paul Walker, way too good at seducing truck drivers with his voice.
I know, he seduced me.
He went from I can't do it, no, I'm not doing it, to being like, hey, Rusty Nail, I need a man with a soul. Like, he was into that shit. Way too fucking good at it.
I was like Fuller though. When he's like, I got dirty brown blonde hair all the way down to my shoulder. He's like, you're turning me on.
Yeah, I know, dude.
It's like, but anyway,
you've done this before.
So yeah, they essentially prank this trucker named Rusty Nail,
and then they run into this big fat asshole who looks like Harvey Weinstein at the hotel. It looks like the hotel from Psycho or Vacancy or whatever. And the guy body checks Steve Zane, and then like he's being a dick, and he calls the manager Brown, and he's pure
racist,
fucking asshole. And you love in horror movies. One of the coolest things about horror movies is seeing an asshole get what he deserves.
Yeah,
it's the one time in life where you can see the fucking true asshole get exactly what he deserves.
What you find out later on is the next morning there was a murder. And you have Timbuktu Fuckface.
I like that cop. He was
from
good.
The cop, yeah, telling them that there was a murder that happened and all this shit went down. And eventually they do admit to pranking this trucker named Rusty Nail. And this is what happened. This is the murder that occurred in the room next to them. With this racist asshole.
Not a murder. He left him in the middle of the highway and ripped his fucking jaw off.
Well, it's gonna be a murder. He's gonna die.
They show it though. They show that he ripped his jaw off, and it's the only gore in the film, like almost in its complete entirety. Is that the cop goes, "Well, I think something might refreshify your memory," and he takes him down to the hospital, which a cop would never fucking do, and shows him the almost corpse with the jaw missing, and it looked good. But again, it's a movie that it lacks in kills, it lacks in real substance because they just kind of fuck around with you the whole movie. But you're having such a good time with these two characters, you don't really care that much. But it does lack in that real fucking fist up your
right
asshole.
Yeah. But yeah, and then they meet the sergeant, and he like throws a fucking stack of files. Like, you know what that is? That's a pain in my ass. And then you two fucking punks do this. Fuck!
Did you get out of jail yesterday?
I like he did the hostage thing. He was like, fuck! He was so frustrated. Like, he didn't care about the murder that just happened. He's like, I gotta do all this paperwork and this file and shit. You two assholes did this shit because you thought it'd be a goof, a fucking goof. And this team's all like, yeah. I know, but eventually they release him. No problems there. They just go on about their merry way and pick up Venice Sausage. And Venice Sausage and them get into the car. Now, this is where I didn't like Fuller.
Hated it too.
Fuller starts macking on this girl right away. Like he's like, dude, she's so fucking hot. Like, is that your girl? But it doesn't, like, it's fine if you like tell your friend or your brother, like, hey, your girlfriend's hot, or the girl you're talking to is hot. But it's another thing entirely when you're trying to put the wiener in their soapy suds quick action.
Rusty Nail's so good, and because it's voiced by Ted Levine, Buffalo Bill,
so good.
From Silence of the Lambs.
He was driving a lotion truck.
Yeah, it's not played by him. It's played by this big fat trucker dude or whatever. But he's the voice, and I'm telling you, man, the movie would not have worked an iota if it weren't for that voice. That voice was so Candy Cane. Come on.
Yeah, it was so good.
The voice fucking nailed it. But I mean, from there it goes on this big, it's a chase scene. He's going after them. They're trying to escape. They're doing whatever he can. He's fucking with them. There's a cool scene where he foresees what they're gonna do, and he writes on the road signs like, "Look in the trunk, Lewis."
that was a lot of fucking work too.
Yeah, man.
I was like, did you stop at each one and be like, I gotta do this?
He puts the CB back in their trunk, and they get on there. Then at that point, there's like a 20-minute section where the film for the first time gets kind of like, all right, Jesus Lord, because it's this continuous like sidestepping, like, okay, meet me here, and then it's like he was the bad guy in Die Hard with a Vengeance, like, I have a riddle, and he kept having a meeting him in fields, and he kidnapped her friend, and he did all this shit, and it's like, okay, at this point, I want to see Rusty Nail. I want to see things culminate, but it's only like a 15 to 20 minute dead spot in the movie.
Couldn't even catch me if I was sitting in my chair.
But then in classic, and only 2000s horror movies do this. Like, they do this non-fucking stuff. They have to have that final thing.
There's a storm coming. I like storms because it keeps people inside. I like that. I was like, yeah, okay, it does.
The streets.
I do like that. It sweeps everything away.
Yeah, that was.
But
cool.
I was like, it's true though. They do stay inside. So if you're gonna travel when it's raining.
Candy Cane had some of the, or Rusty Nail had some of the best lines in the movie, writing wise. But it does that same thing. Ghost Ship did it. A ton of fucking movies do it.
But I love those movies.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm glad they did it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, they've got everybody sitting, they're all safe and sound, and they think the bad guy's dead or whatever, and then all of a sudden they hear over the radio, Candy Cane's like, or Rusty Nail's like, I'm looking for a bear report, come on.
And it's like, there's a storm coming, driving in the storm.
I'm only happy when it rains. It's meant to be like, he's still out there.
The ending is, it's pretty lackluster. It's not great. It's not amazing. But again, for the early 2000 movies like this, I would give it a pass because all of them were doing it. But either way, the movie's a solid 8 for me. I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie. I would watch this movie. Like, it's a background movie at this point. Like, you gotta watch it when it's on TV, and you could clean your house, you could do some other things while it's going on. It's still a great movie. And Paul Walker, Steve Zahn, Leela Sputnik, they did a great job. The guy from Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs did an amazing job. If you've never seen this movie, I don't know what you're waiting on. Don't ever, like, here's the thing. Watch Joyride. Don't watch the sequels, because they all suck asshole. They are progressively the worst thing that you've ever seen.
You know what's a great double bill? Vacancy and Joyride. That'd be 2 to watch in one night. So yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. I give it an embraceful fucking 8.0. Like I love the shit out of this movie. You can't give it higher than 8.0. I feel like because it does have some problems, and in its core, I guess it is a generic 2000s horror movie, but it's so fun and it's got that J.J. Abrams mystery feel to it, and the characters are so good that it's just an easy fucking. It's like one of the breeziest horror movies to watch. It'd be a great movie to show someone who doesn't really love horror movies. If you want to watch a movie with
just
that
a thriller movie.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? And I'm glad that it came out in the early 2000s because if it did come out today, you know immediately these motherfuckers would try to spin it off to a TV series.
Yeah, or something.
Like it would be something stupid like that.
And you know, it's better than the Hitcher remake. Better than the Hitcher remake. I don't know. What would you put it against? 2 different movies completely. But what about this versus Kurt Russell's Breakdown? It's a tough one.
Ooh,
that's a tough one right there.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with. I love Kurt Russell. I'm gonna go with Breakdown. I love that shit. Well, Breakdown. I feel like in Breakdown, he had more stakes. It was Kurt fucking Russell and J.T. Walsh.
That's a good question. Out of those 3 movies, the Hitcher remake, J.T. Walsh, Joyride, or Breakdown starring Kurt Russell. Comment down below. But I want to thank you, Jeremy. I want to thank you, Katie. You guys both picked this movie. Katie, this doesn't count as yours because Jeremy had it first or whatever, but you've got another pick in there as well. And again, guys, if you're interested in this, if you want to pick our video that we're going to do, you can join that level of the Patreon.
It's going to be fun.
And we pick one weekly. So amazing pick. Jeremy, we love you. Katie, we love you. We love all of you fucking guys. And I just said goddamn! If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some fucking wham up in you.
You guys want to get CB radios and talk to each other? We can talk to other car beds. It'll be hot.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie.